We're talking today about whether or not voice technology will challenge the dominance of tactile interfaces. Greg Nichols has been researching this for ZDNet. And Greg, just to start off with, do you think that ultimately voice will change our relationship with keyboards?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, and I've been looking into this, and it's done so in a quick way and kind of a sneaky way. When it was first introduced, voice technology was kind of this add-on feature, right? It wasn't the primary way we interacted with our phones, but Siri came along and it kind of gave us a fun alternative in certain cases to actually tapping the screen. But something's changed, and it's happened quickly. It's been prompted by the rise of home assistants. So voice technology is no longer a feature set on these devices. It's really the dominant user interface. So these voice-activated assistants are really cloud computers that don't have keyboards. They don't have the tactile interface anymore. And that's changing our idea of how computers work and how we as consumers can interact with them.
Greg, voice is hands-free, which is definitely easier for most. Is that the reason why this change is happening so quickly?
I wanted to know that too, and I did some digging. It really is in the last few years. I found a recent survey addressing exactly this topic, and the survey was conducted by a firm called Solutions. What they did is they went out and interviewed 4,000 people, consumers in the U.S., the U.K., in France, and Germany. So get this: according to the survey, almost half of the general public think that keyboards will barely be used in 2023 as voice technology takes over. 2023, that's 4 years away. So this is happening very quickly, and opinions are really shifting rapidly.
And Greg, it seems that this change with keyboards is it's really happening pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one reason. Of course, it's hands-free, it's easier, and some tasks are a lot easier without using your hands. If you're driving, for example, it's just much easier not to have to touch the phone. It's much safer too. But one of the primary reasons for the shift in attitudes, according to this survey by Pindrop, was the desire for a healthier relationship with technology. And to break that down a little bit, 2/5 of the people surveyed believe voice technology promises a future where technology is actually less intrusive. So 41% of the people surveyed believe it will help people stop staring at their phones so much. And about the same number of respondents believe technology will just be easier overall to use because of voice technology, because you're interacting with computers with your voice as opposed to having to sit down at a computer and type or use a mouse or use a touch screen to prompt a computer to do something for you.
You mentioned using the technology, Greg, in cars, but how else do you see people integrating voice into their lives?
Yeah, the majority of people, outside of work instances, the majority of people surveyed actually already are using their voice to interact with devices and appliances. So in the next 5 years, according to the survey, more than half of people plan to use their voice and voice-activated devices and appliances for tasks like cooking, like managing the home, ordering groceries online was a big one, organizing an event using a home assistant. So voice technology is quickly gaining ground as a primary way we interact with devices. And the interesting thing to me is if we look out on the horizon, it's pretty clear there are a lot of new technologies in the offing, stuff that's coming down the pike here that's going to be a great match for voice control. So virtual reality is a good example of this. Virtual reality is supposed to be an immersive environment, and having to use handheld controllers right now is a little bit intrusive. So voice technology could help free virtual reality and really help it achieve that immersive environment that it promises. And then my favorite sector is robotics. That's what I primarily cover, and that's another great example. As robots start to come into our home, as we start to interact with robots day to day, we're going to need a way to give them commands, to interact with them, to get useful information out of them. And sitting down with a keyboard and typing to your robot really isn't how we think of interacting with robots. It's with our voice. So as robotics become more of a daily technology, I think voice technology is going to be a big use there.
Finally, Greg, in terms of challenges, what do you see as the real roadblocks when it comes to voice?
Yeah, the technology is getting pretty good, and that's happened quickly too. I think we all remember kind of generation one of voice technology, where you were misunderstood the majority of the time. That happens less and less. There's still a long way to go there, but the primary challenge I think right now is security. According to the survey by Pindrop, about half of people still would be reluctant to do any kind of authentication using their voice, and that makes a lot of sense. We kind of think of inputting passwords as a very private thing. So speaking passwords, or even just having a computer recognize our voice, it feels alien to us still, and I think we're a little bit reluctant to do that. And then when it comes to dictating a work email, for example, something that might be sensitive or private, it's tough to see voice technology completely taking over those tasks, because if you're in an open office, then all of a sudden everyone's listening to your email, and I don't think everyone would be comfortable with that.
Yes, that could be quite a problem, Greg. Well, for more on Greg's full article, be sure you check out ZDNet.